Chiefy, yes, what do you think of the Auckland launch and make it a jersey logo, that sort of thing?
I think it's good for the league. It's nice to have a new team in. It brings a fresh flavour to the new teams, or sorry, to the existing teams, and it'll be exciting to see what Bimby and Terry come up with.
Did you like the name? Pretty simple?
Yeah, simple. I like simple things, so it's pretty effective. I'm a traditionalist as well. Anything FC, is good. Rovers, all that. United, I like all that sort of naming.
The jersey, some people loved it, some people didn't. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm a mad Sampdoria fan, so that reminds me of Inter, so I'm not a big fan. So, it's all right. It's it's I think representative of what they want to do there, and it has a nice tie to their roots.
Do you start to get excited now about that Kiwi rivalry that's going to be going on for the next few seasons?
Not at the moment. I'm still preoccupied with this season. I'll worry about it when it comes next season. Look, again, it's exciting for the league. I think it's very, very important that rivalry is very healthy, especially in New Zealand, because it gives a talking point, which means there's more eyes and more media focusing on our game, which is very, very important.
And this is the last time the Phoenix go and play in Auckland as a home side. What does that mean to you and this team?
Well, I think it's Auckland's been very kind to us. We've always had positive response from the public. I think we've played some really good football up there. When Ufi was coach as well, we had some really great experiences there. Still, the one that sticks in my head most was when we played Wanderers at Eden Park in our first year. I think it was like Maranovic played a long ball into Soteria for a chip ball. And just the buzz off that. That goal was fantastic. We also had that big game against Perth, the 2-2, when Uli missed a penalty at the end. It was a difference between us making the 6, but the vibe's great there. The fans, when they get behind us, it's a nice place to be at.
Yeah. How do you foresee now with this Auckland team engaging with young Auckland players? Like, do you think there's going to start to be more competition for them, or do you think the Phoenix, with the fact that they've still got the academy, gives you a head start and an advantage?
Yeah, I've said this a while back. It's very hard for our club to basically map out all of New Zealand and pick all the talent. There are going to be players that miss out. A large chunk of those are in Auckland. So I think it's actually quite healthy that those players have a bigger network now which to get scouted. So I think there's always a vacuum there in which these players can get selected. So I think it's actually really good.
But you've benefited from Auckland players. I mean, Gabriel's a player that's grown up in Auckland, spent time there as well. Can you talk a little bit about him? Got his debut last weekend, and your hopes and what you see in him.
Gab, I've probably mentioned in the article this week. There's a bit of background to it. I saw him by accident in one of the reserve. I think it was a Cat 2 games. I was there watching the senior or the reserve team, and then they had a game after, and I was just there by chance watching that second game, and I liked what I saw. I thought he had something different to what all the other players had. I was very confident on the ball, liked running, facing forward, very good technically, and I just brought him into training the next day. I brought in Supek at the same time as well, and for me they were both fantastic. When they both came in, we obviously gave Supes an offer, and at the moment, there's an offer on the table for Gab, so it's just really up for him now to decide whether he wants to stay here or not.
Not many 16-year-olds make their professional debut at that age. We're seeing it more and more, though. What do you think that's down to? Is it just development? Is it coaching? Is it more faith in young players?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of all those things. I think a lot of teams by necessity have had to bleed a lot of younger players because of budget cuts to salary cap and so on, which has been a good thing because that allows these young players to get an opportunity, and then occasionally you get out of that bunch of young players coming through, you get the one or two gems that are really young and need an opportunity. If you look at like Waddingham, for example, at Brisbane, he's been doing fantastic, really young. I think he's just turned 17. So, Irukunda was in that mould with Adelaide last year. So you see where he's developed. So those players are out there. It's just the faith of the coaches in those players and giving the opportunity and also circumstances.
and then with an Auckland team, do you foresee potentially more competition and going, look, come to our club, we'll debut you earlier, or give you more opportunities at an earlier age?
I think that's unhealthy. I think there has to be an organic approach to development. If you force young players and put them in environments where they're not comfortable, the actual opposite happens. You can sink them before they can swim. I feel like integration of young players into this environment is very, very crucial. For example, game time, expectation, even the mental aspect, that's actually quite taxing. You see with some of our younger players, we like giving them a little bit of time, taking them out, putting them back in. And I think it needs to be earned as well. I think training's a big thing. You know, if a kid trains well, shows consistency, you want to reward him. If you're then just inviting kids over and saying, look, we're going to give you an opportunity and play you, but they don't really earn it, I don't really think you're creating the right values in the player.
Right. And I guess just lastly, reuniting with Uffy again in Auckland. I mean, yeah, what is it? At this stage of the season, how did you guys go into that game?
The same as every other game. I mean, you know, I hate to say it, I'm like a broken record. For me, this is still 3 points, no more different, you know, than the last game, the game before that. For me, it's more, you know, the focus is more about now going back to what we know, performing well. I don't think we've been the best, to be fair, the last couple of weeks. I think we could do a lot better with the ball. I think defensively the outputs are quite good still, but with the ball we're kind of being a little bit, I don't want to say hit and miss, but it hasn't flowed as well as what I expect and what the players expect, and there's a higher expectation in the group that they can do a lot better. And I think we need to refocus on that and avoid all the talk about what's happening with the season. For us, what's worked from day one is game by game, making sure that we perform well. I keep saying to the players, you know, it's 45 minutes now. That's what we're worried about. At half time, we worry about the next 45, and that's all we can control. So for me, if we can get back to that, you know, that mindset, I think we'll do well.
How important is it to get this 3 points, though? You know, it is just another 3 points, but these particular 3 points with coming off the loss right now, sitting in second place, how important is it?
Again, I hate to say, I don't really look into that, because if I start making it about the result, then a different mindset goes into the game, right? We move away from the performance and we can't really control what we can control. But in terms of value, the games now are no longer 3 pointers, they're 6 pointers, right? So the 3 points that we potentially could give them means that, you know, 3 points that we don't gain, they gain 3, so it becomes 6. I think in all these games, Mariners, MacArthur, Sydney, even victory last night, you know, not losing is just as important as also as winning, because the opposition can't gain spots and everyone is really fighting for every point.
Pretty big crowd expected at Eden Park. That always gives the team a boost. Last time in Auckland, how much are you looking forward to it?
I think it'll be great. I think it's really healthy. I think it's important for the players as well to have that fan base. I know we have a lot of supporters in Auckland and around that area. And again, I keep saying the fans are the 12th man. You know, when things go against you, they can lift you, and that support, you know, gives that energy level. If you're also winning, you know, they give you the support that you need to keep carrying through. And when it gets tense as well, they're the ones that, you know, push you through. So I'm really looking forward to it, and it's just a shame that we can't get this every game.
And just lastly, what's your message to those Auckland-based fans in particular who are thinking about, you know, I've been a Wellington fan for a long time, new club coming in for Auckland? What's your message to them?
Again, I'll probably say something controversial here. I believe in real fans. I'm not a big fan of bandwagon fans. If you want to go and jump over to Auckland, good luck to you. Not a real fan then. You know, I like loyal fans, the ones that come to every game, even the ones that, you know, they might miss a year for whatever reason, or a couple of games, and they touch base with the club. We have a lot of those, and for us, it's more important that we keep those and keep the faith with those guys, and then hopefully the product sells that next generation of loyal fans coming through. And again, if the rivalry is good and there's more eyes on the game, there's more media, that will look after itself.
Great.
A few questions from Andrew Vorman at Staff. Able to give us an update on Oscar Zavada's injury?
So we were hopeful that he would be available for this week. He regressed a little bit on his day back. What could have been don't misquote me here, maybe Tuesday, felt a little bit more aggravation in the affected area. So precautionary, we ruled him out and given a little bit more time. Now we have this international window with the 2 weeks, so we're hopeful that he'll be ready for Brisbane.
How do you think the first meeting went with Sydney in regards to the tactical battle?
Yeah, I thought it was actually a really good game. I saw Ufi yesterday talking about the how he thought it was a tactical battle. I thought it was actually quite. It was right. It was a very tense game, and I feel like this game's going to be the same. You know, it will be decided by a moment. I think second half we got a lot right, but in the end we got punished. In the first half, I think they got a lot right, and they didn't capitalise. So, yeah, it was two contrasting styles. I think it's for a football enthusiast that's going to come on Saturday, they're going to enjoy it. They press quite well. I keep saying they're the best pressing team in the league, and no one does what they do, so it's unique and it's very, very effective, and no one does what we do. So when we do it right, we're quite effective as well.
Yeah, you sort of answered the next question already, but if he has Sydney pressing high, you like to bake the press and play in transition. Will the clash of styles make for an entertaining match?
I hope so. Not too entertaining, because that means there's a lot of goals. And yeah, look, I keep saying for us the most important thing is the performance, and this is a really good opportunity, you know, for our players, especially those international boys that go away. We play international football, though, you know, the intensity, you know, goes up another level. So it's something that they need to get used to, experience. Very, very important, get accustomed to. They want to make that next step. So yeah, looking forward to it.
And what were the tactical discussions like with you and Iffy when you worked together, and were there any disagreements?
Always. That's all we always used to argue all the time. So about tactics, but the one thing that I learned for the 4 years that I was with him is definitely the best coach I've worked with, and I've been part of, and I've been lucky enough to, be close to a lot of coaches, and I don't say that because, you know, we worked together for so long, but I truly respect him as a coach. Tactically, he's probably one of the best minds out there, so I learn a lot, and we used to debate all the time tactically, what would work, what wouldn't work, and yeah, it's good exercise. And now I do the same in my office, and I've become him, and, you know, Grips has become what I used to be, so it's healthy, it's good.
And just finally from Andrew, are you surprised that he has embraced this high pressing game this season?
Well, I think with all good coaches, I think you evolve. You know, there's not one way of playing that is absolute, because then everyone will be doing it and having success. Football is about evolution, and, you know, constant changes, trends, and you've got to be at the forefront of that. You've got to be open-minded. So for me, the fact that he's gone that way, and you can see if the process is good, it's effective, and good coaches are able always to deliver their message.